Ladies and gentlemen, we're a little under 2 days before we get to see Collingwood and Carlton take the field in another rivalry match. And as we should always expect in a game like this, especially in the last few years at the very least, we're going to see a very tight game. It always brings the best out of both clubs and fighting for a great cause in the Peter Mac Harper Cancer Foundation. So much to play for, more than just what footy is. It transcends beyond footy on Thursday night. Coming out of an underwhelming weekend of sport. I mean, at least to me, when there's no Collingwood VFL or AFL playing, it's always going to be an underwhelming weekend of support. I feel like something was just missing. Something didn't feel quite right about that weekend, and obviously no dosage of Collingwood in that is probably the reason why I'm feeling a little bit of resentment to the week gone by. But talking about the game against Carlton, really it's a position I can come at an angle in a way that I can be this typical Collingwood fan. I could say, look, it's a chance to put Carlton fans out of their misery and hand them their wooden spoon for the year, or sign them off on not making finals after the game that is on Thursday, being 0-4. And then there's also the angle of me being able to come in and say, well, yeah, they're 0-3, but they've been playing some good football in short spurts throughout their games. For me, watching the game, it feels like, however, it's an unsustainable sort of game plan they have, and they're unable to run out the games. Call it fitness, call it an inability to build up and find quality looks going inside 50. There's probably so many little bits and pieces that are just going for wrong for Carlton, and it combusts as one and then just looks like a massive cluster. Yeah, so really it's just a bit of a mess for Carlton, but I'm sure that internally they know, or would at least feel, that they're not too far off the mark. You're never as bad as you think you are, and you're never as good as you think you're going. So they'd probably be heading into that mindset into Thursday night, but the looming cloud that hangs over them is the fact that if they do lose their season 0-4, I know Brisbane and Hawthorn were able to come back from similar positions last year, but I just don't know if Carlton are cut from the same cloth as these other clubs. You know, you look at Brisbane where they're at now, they're still a top two side. You got Hawthorn, who've won like 18 of the last 20 games. I think Carlton, for the most part, outside of that run in 2023, did they really give much else beyond that? I don't know. So I share some reservations. I sympathise for Carlton fans because of the last 30 years that they've had to endure. But if there's ever been a club to have an opportunity to sort of say sayonara to a rivalry's season, it's going to be Collingwood. It's going to be us. But it's not going to be without its challenges. Just look back to 22, look back to both games last year. They took us right to the end. It took a Nick Dacos in that first game, and it took a miss after the siren from Mitch McGovern in that corresponding game in the SP 400 milestone. So, yeah, it goes without saying this is not going to be easy. There's two angles to go into it with this game, but I think Collingwood, they're not going in without their own issues, right? Yeah, we're getting the wins, the runs on the board, and we're playing decent footy. Were we outstanding against Footscray? I probably would say no, but you've got to be able to win those games. And while I expected score probably indicates we should have won a bit more comfortably, I still thought we're not quite there yet. I still don't think we're playing like a top 4 side right now, maybe top 6. So that's what I want to see. I want to see Collingwood build into a team that has that consistency, that fluency in the game, that shows me, that screams at me we're a top 4 side again. I'm not feeling that just yet. But that's not a bad thing. That's just the infancy of this season and the bye interrupting things. it's been such a arduous start to this season. I don't know how else to explain it. It just feels like we're sort of stuck in the mud. And by no fault of Collingwood, it's just the way the fixturing is and so on and so forth. It is what it is. Now, however, we will be uninterrupted until the mid-season bye. So without looking at the fixture, I hope surely that's at least like 10 games away. I don't know. But with the team talk, we're coming into some problems, good and bad. We'll start with the bad, being Reef with his ACL. It seems like Billy Frampton is the likely replacement. I'm intrigued. We did the live stream yesterday. If Harry Mackay is deemed not ready to return, then do you still play a Billy Frampton, or do you go for like a Charlie Dean, or even less likely, maybe a Jacob Ryan to build around moving forward? There's been a big conversation on this channel with the viewers and subscribers about horses for courses, and Billy Frampton is the right horse for this Harry Mackay course. But if he's not there, like, do you even go that way? Like, we've seen a lot of Billy Frampton. Can we see a little bit more of Charlie Dean? Perhaps is that something we can look into a little bit more if they don't have two tall key pillars in their forward line. We've spoken about Hawthorn playing small ball in their forward line. I mean, if we go into into a game against a Hawthorn with the Billy Frampton, Darcy Moore, Maynard, Howe, and the likes, yeah, I'd like to see how we would go when the ball hits the deck. That's going to be the biggest question. So, like I said, the obvious option for now is Billy Frampton. My gut says if Mackay doesn't play, I don't think Fly would pick Frampton, but I stand here to be proven wrong. I think I'll be proven wrong, even though that's my gut feel, but I'll stand by that. The other one, which is a good problem to have as far as team selection is concerned, is the Mason Cox magnet. Played well against Footscray, had some really key moments. That through ball against late in that fourth quarter for Bobby Hill was an absolute dime. But I just don't think he's done enough to keep his spot for now. And therefore, Myercheck has to come back in. That's how I feel. I think Myercheck gives us that speed and that ground ball pressure that we need as a front six. And if we're going to have tall players, they've got to be able to compete. And that's something that Tim Membry does very well. Watching him live against Port Adelaide and also against Footscray is his work rate and his ability to compete at ground level as well. So it's a really nice compliment that the Membrys add and the Myerchecks add when the ball hits the deck. It's not all about the aerial efforts that they provide. I don't even know if we're going to get into the discussion of the subs, because really it's a lucky dip. Fly closes his eyes and he goes, yep, sweet. Geordie, we'll put that one back in. Ned Long, all right, fair enough, cool, we'll do that. Who knows? It might be a Jamie Elliott. It could be a Steel Sidebottom. He's never failed to surprise me, Fly McRae. But I feel like he's moved the proverbial magnets so far this season, and it's all worked out well. So I trust the man, and obviously he's won us a flag before, so it's good to see. The final topic of the matchup between Collingwood and Carlton is the individual matchups. The one that's sort of sticking out to me like a sore thumb, and I'm salivating at, is Tom De Koning versus Darcy Cameron. Now, De Koning has torn apart everybody in his sight. Who did he play? He played against Tim English. Definitely was an intriguing battle. Tim English had his moments, but Tom De Koning just has that dominance about him when it comes to contested possessions, the hit outs. It's everything. I don't know where I was going there. He's a monster. He has that Shaquille O'Neal vibe. If you guys watch the NBA, he has that. I wasn't going to say Nikola Jokic because he's very polished. I would say, for those of you who watch basketball, maybe he gives me Giannis Antetokounmpo energy, just big center energy. So it's going to be a challenge for Darcy Cameron. Darcy Cameron, he has been the best intercepting ruckman in the air over the last couple of years. I think Tom De Koning is coming to take that. He's daring to take that crown from him. I'm pretty sure De Koning is averaging 3 intercept marks a game and is doing what Darcy Cameron has done in the last couple of years, but better at this point. So I'd like to see DC win that specific battle on Thursday, and I don't think we're needing DC to win the aerial duels and everything else in between against Tom De Koning, but just to have his own moments. Like Tom De Koning made Lloyd Meek look silly. He's made Tim English look like a little boy at times. So I think we're going to see DC's colours lowered at times, but that's okay. We spoke about Mackay being in there. Kerno, you probably just slap on a Darcy Moore and yeah, wish him all the best. I mean, he's coming off against a decent performance against Sam Darcy. I think, yeah, Kerno obviously presents his own challenges, but I think that will be a great matchup. And how we nullify Wiedering's impact aerially, we saw in that first half way back when against Richmond, even times against Sam Darcy, just how crucial he is in the back half for Carlton. So having an assignment there and a concerted emphasis on that will be integral to our path to victory. And then lastly, Motlop. I feel like Motlop is just quietly starting to really work into his season. And I think if Carlton have a way to win this game, it's through the likes of like a Motlop. And it's weird, like there are some individual players who have been absolutely superb for Carlton, but something's just not coming together. And you can see that because there's no congruency in the way they move their ball around the ground, and leads to some really poor inside 50s. I mean, they're still getting their 55 to 60 inside 50s per game. It's just the method. There's just no method to the madness, some would say. But I think I'll leave it at that, guys. I appreciate you. And if you've made it this far into the video, consider subscribing. And we will see you later tonight for the Pies Presser. And then we also have the pre-game show and the post-game show on Thursday, while we also have on Wednesday the Moving the Magnet show. So that's the live team reaction when they release the teams at 6:20. The stream will start at 5:45. So be there and we'll chat some more. Go Pies.